This is the Almost Timely newsletter for the week of February 12th, 2023. Before we begin, your help, please. This past week, tens of thousands of people died in a massive earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Relief organizations have mounted an impressive response to extract as many survivors as possible. But as of the time of recording, more than 20,000 people lost their lives. Now the transition to and the long road to recovery begins, and our help is needed. Knowledgeable folks like my friend Barak Sarakaya have vouched for organizations, the ones in the newsletter, as doing the work on the ground to help with the rebuilding process. I don't even know how to pronounce some of these. Abap, Akut, and the White Helmets are three of the organizations that are working in these regions to try and help rebuild. So if you can, please donate, even as little as 5 or 10 euros or dollars or pounds, whatever 100 Turkish lira works out to you in your local currency, if you can. And whether or not you can contribute, please use your voice to spread the word. You have a voice, no matter how big or small your network. And in times of great need, we all have an obligation to pitch in however we can. Now, what's on my mind this week? Averting panic with focus. We've talked a lot recently about ChatGPT and SEO and ChatGPT and content marketing, etc., about how organic search and content marketing itself are going to change fundamentally in the very near future. A lot of folks have understandably reacted very strongly to the news, asking what they should do, what the consequences will be. The reality is, nobody knows. We can make some very educated guesses about how ordinary people will react based on how people generally react to massive technological change, but we cannot promise or guarantee any outcome. What we can promise, what we can guarantee, is something that Amazon founder and former CEO Jeff Bezos advocated for, and it's a sensible strategy. Focus on what doesn't change. What are the aspects of our behavior, of our customers' behavior, that won't change no matter what the technological intermediary is? So, at the most basic level, generally speaking, all consumers, and I'm lumping B2B and B2C here together in the term consumer, all consumers want things to be better, faster, and cheaper, right? I don't know of anyone in a position of responsibility, of decision-making, who says, yes, I think I'd like to pay more for absolutely no good reason, right? That doesn't happen. But people want to pay less all the time. People want things to be faster. People have, thanks to these lovely devices, absolutely no patience with waiting on literally anything. People want things to be better service, better quality, you name it. These are fundamentally things that don't change, right? So if your strategy is built around better, faster, and cheaper, then you're probably going to do okay. Our biochemical brains, right? These computers, these advanced neural networks that are within our skulls, these don't change either, not really. We have not had significant hardware upgrades in millennia, right? The people who walk the earth today, you and me, we're not substantially different than the human beings who walked the earth 2,000 years ago, or even 10,000 years ago, right? We are still motivated by our same base emotions like joy and anger and fear and sadness and love. The mechanisms that we might use to express those emotions are sure different now, right? We do it with our phones. We express these emotions in very different ways, but the driving forces themselves are still the same. Habits like word of mouth don't change. We still talk to our friends and colleagues and families about strong positive or negative experiences. We still rage at poor service or gush over exceptional experiences. The merchant at the bazaar in ancient Sumeria marketed with the same word of mouth we use today. So where should our focus be if we want to succeed in our marketing and our business? The same place it should have been all along, on making our customers, our consumers, as deliriously happy as we can so that they are compelled to share their experiences with the wider world. right? Whether it is yelling to your friend at the next stall over, or you're shooting a VR video or a photosphere, it's all the same thing. Investing in things that make us remarkable in the literal sense. Seth Godin said it best. Remarkable means worthy of remark, worth remarking about, is what we should be doing. Right? If you have something that's worth remarking on, it makes it a lot easier to do everything we've talked about. Word of mouth spreads, regardless of channel, right? We've talked about private social media communities like Discord and Slack, places that marketers can't see. Well, guess what? If you have stuff that's remarkable, people will talk about it in those places. People ask about your brand specifically. Ad costs go down a little as performance increases. People join your communities and stick around for the value you provide for them. Now, being remarkable, is this new? No. Is this revelatory? No, it shouldn't be. Is this insightful? No, it's obvious, isn't it? So why aren't we doing it already? Right? Why is your company, your marketing, why is it not worthy of remark? What is it missing that would make it worthy of remark? When any new technological innovation comes out that has the potential to disrupt your marketing or your business, ask yourself first if it substantially changes the things that don't change, right? Smartphones, for example, these make it substantially easier for people to document their experiences, good and bad alike. They make word of mouth easier. You can remark about the service you're receiving by holding up the phone, and taking a video of this thing, or the flight attendant who does the safety briefing by singing it, right? It's worthy of remark. This makes it easier. The internet opened up whole new channels for people to perform the exact same behaviors, remarking on things, talking about things with their friends, just online. Now, as for AI-mediated experiences like ChatGPT and the large language models that'll be invading search engines, the jury is still out. Because generally speaking, people still generally prefer to deal with other people. People take recommendations generally from other people. We will see how it all plays out. But if you remain laser focused on the things that don't change and being actually remarkable, chances are you will weather the turbulent seas ahead far better than your competitors who are panicking and flailing and probably drowning. What else is in the news this week? In case you missed it, this week we're talking about startups and brands building your own events. Reliable reach was last week's topic, and of course, lots of ChatGPT stuff. I've got another piece coming out on the large language models and their impact on content marketing, so that'll be coming out this week. Did a fun live stream this week on determining if you've been shadow banned, which isn't really a thing. So I would say if you're going to pick one thing, go watch the thing on being shadow banned. I think there's some useful insights there about how social media companies make some decisions. In terms of promotional stuff, still promoting that LinkedIn profile course over on the Trust Insights Academy. Totally free. Totally free. You're welcome to go take it, though, and improve your LinkedIn profile. It was another week in the world of layoffs and things. So if you have someone who's affected, please, when it's appropriate to do so, because people need to process these events, when it's appropriate to do so, please share that course with them so they can get their profile tuned up. They can get back to looking. In jobs this week, got a whole bunch of new stuff. We have AI marketing specialist at Tomorrow.io, data scientist at Cohesion, digital marketing analytics manager at Teradata, mobile analytics analyst at Express Scripts, marketing specialist at Vermeer, senior analyst at Ecoa, senior analytics engineer at Honeylove, senior email marketing analyst at Hertz, analytics consultant at AdSwerve. So lots of new and good stuff there. Let's see what else is happening in the news this week. TikTok providing more ways to amplify organic content with updated promotional tools. Will Twitter be where brands comment on the Super Bowl? We don't know. By the way, this isn't in the newsletter. The rumored we're going to start charging for the API over at Twitter didn't happen on the 9th. That was what was promised, or what was said was going to be the case, but it did not happen yet. That said, you still want to be you still want to be finding some alternate sources for data gathering on Twitter. Check out this past week's issue of the Trust Insights newsletter. I walked through the tool that I'm using now that no longer relies on the API. You're welcome, Elon. Is AI threatening SEO strategy? Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella explains how Bing with AI is better than Google. So the AI wars in search are really picking up. In fact, there's a piece on the arms race in search. We have machine learning pipelines, and then a lot of questions about what's going on with the markets, because there's some really wacky stuff happening in the markets. That is the news for this week. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for spending some time here. Upcoming events, I'm going to be at PodCamp Philly early March and Martech Opie at the end of March. So if you're going to be around for either of those two events, one's in Philly, one's in London, stop by and say hi. And possibly some other stuff coming up soon, just kind of working out the paperwork for all that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your attention. I'll talk to you next week. Take care. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.